and welcome to Yin Yoga. You might need a couple of cushions today, a blanket, maybe you've got blocks, maybe you would like to use 2 different types of pillows, maybe you've got a bolster. Any of those things could help our practice. And I'm going to begin by putting that small cushion underneath my sitting bones, as I like to start sitting up when we're doing our Yin Yoga sometimes. Taking a big inhale to bring the arms up, a long exhale to let the hands settle somewhere comfortable. So it might be your heart center, you might want to rest them on the knees or the thighs. And today's Yin Yoga class is called The Peace of Wild Things. I've chosen yoga poses named after things we might find in the wild. So we've got butterflies and dragonflies, we've got deer and frogs and kittens and pigeons today. And some poses will only be in for a little while if they're new ones, so we can just explore. But the whole idea of the phrase, the peace of wild things, comes from one of my favourite poetry collections by Wendell Berry. And we'll begin with the first poem, which is the title poem. The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. So be free to enjoy this practice in your body today. See if you can cultivate that gentle, smooth breath like water. No effort as it gently moves up and down, in and out. All those tiny little droplets moving into all the spaces that are open, accessible. Breathing in, breathing out, finding the stillness. Coming into the presence of stillness as you slow down and take time to be in your body with your breath in this moment, right here, right now. When it's time to move, I'm going to ring the singing chimes or the wind chimes today. It'll change from the singing bowl. Singing chimes. And I've chosen air, and my wind chimes are named after the elements. And I think air is a nice one when we're focusing on stillness. Resting here. Taking a few more easy breaths. Nothing to do. Nowhere to be. Right here. Right now. enjoying the sound of silence, the stillness of silence. Moving very slowly, maybe stretching out those legs, hands behind the back, just giving those toes a little wiggle, a little rock side to side. And our first pose, butterfly pose. So taking the soles of the feet together, maybe propping up the legs with a bolster or pillows or cushions. Maybe sitting up on a cushion. Maybe staying sitting upright. Maybe lying on your back and doing a sleeping butterfly. If you'd like to fold forward, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold forward. And a little reminder of the observations of Yin Yoga. The first being time. So these poses today will be between 1 minute and 5 minutes, depending on whether it's a new pose or maybe one of those tricky poses that we're just getting into. Stillness, we want to seek the stillness of mind and body. And the edge, we want to play the edge. We want to become aware of the sensations. The sensations may be strong, but there shouldn't be a struggle. So these poses today really focus on around the hip area, a place that we are said to store stuck emotions and tensions. So if you find that you're a little weepy during this, then just go with it, let it flow. In these poses, this one in particular, we are focusing on the external rotation of the hips. And if you're folding forward, flexion of the hips. And with all the poses, we want to let the muscles relax so that we can get into the fascia, that stuff that coats the muscles, the joints, the ligaments, the organs. Stuff that can get tight and tense, making us feel tight and tense. And remember that how we practice yin is far more important than what we practice. So observing those guidelines, notice those sensations now. Maybe you'd like to visualize a butterfly. Has the options to flitter around, moving fast and fly, just like you could. Maybe not fly, but move fast. But it rests when it wants to, seeking the sun, the warmth. Delicate wings, gently absorbing just what it needs. Visualizing the knees, the thighs making little wings, and the body taking just what it needs right now. Finding the peace of that wild thing. And just a little section from the collection, the thought of something else. A spring wind blowing, the smell of the ground through the intersections of traffic. The mind turns, seeks a new nativity, another place, simpler, less weighted by what has already been. Staying here with the breath once again. I'll leaving you here in just a little bit more silence for a few more rounds of your breath in your body. Very slowly on an inhale, coming up, taking the hands behind the back, lowering down, giving yourself a little tantramasana. So that's a happy baby with waggling the feet and the hands. Maybe giving yourself a hug and rolling back up to sit. And we're going to come into Dragonfly now, taking the legs as wide as we can possibly go and then drawing them in about 20%. So I like to put pillows or blankets underneath the backs of my knees. This stops me overstretching the knees. You could stay upright if you just like that nice long stretch in the backs of the legs and the adductors. Or you could take this into a forward fold again by inhaling, lifting the heart. Exhaling, walking the hands gently forward, taking your time. This is quite an intense pose, so we don't want to go too far, too fast. Just see if you can find that spot where you find the strong sensations, but no struggle, and soften into the pose. Let those muscles relax so the fascia can release. If you need to move around, take your time. See if you can relax the toes. Let the muscles get out of the way. Rest in the grace of this pose. And sink into the stillness of the dragonfly. And we take time to really notice nature, really looking very closely. These little insects can be so beautiful, not just the colourings and the markings, but the delicacy of the wings, the furry little bodies. All those tiny little universes, all in one small little creature. It's beauty. It's magnificence. To rest in the beauty of this pose. All the little parts that make it a whole. Rest in the grace of this pose. I'll read a poem from this collection called The Arrival. Like a tide it comes in, wave after wave of foliage and fruit, the nurtured and the wild, out of the light to this shore. In its extravagance we shape the strenuous outline of enough. So see if you can shape the strenuous outline of enough, where the sensations are strong, but there's no struggle, just enough. Breathing calmly, steadily, softly. Finding the 3 kinds of stillness we practice in yoga. The stillness of body, the stillness of breath, the stillness of the fluctuations of the mind. I'll leave you here in stillness and silence for just a little while longer. Ever so slowly on an inhale, rise up, bring the knees together. Take the hands behind the back, windshield wiper the knees softly side to side. And then we're going to come into deer pose, or sometimes called sleeping animal pose or resting animal pose. So we begin by crossing the legs, and then we're going to line up the knees. So we're going to take the left foot behind us, but we want the knees in a straight line, and we might need a pillow or cushion to prop up our sitting bones, because we will probably be leaning over to one side. Now you can stay upright. Maybe you'd like to put a blanket under the knee, some padding there. Or maybe you'd like to turn it into a twist as well. If you'd like to do that, we slowly turn the body round to the right side and lower gently down. I actually find it easier to do the twist than to stay upright, but choose what you need most now. Observing the edge. We don't want to go too much so that it's painful, but we don't mind those strong sensations. We're not going to be here for too long. It's probably a new pose for many people doing this today. So we're going to visit this for a little while. We'll come back to it in later weeks. It's actually probably one of my favourites. I don't know why I've not done it for a long while. I do like this one. And I like to think of it as a resting animal. The wild, the animals know when to move, when to rest. Just guided by the natural world. So we're slowly going to exit that pose. And we're just going to swap sides. So crossing the legs, taking that right foot behind, lining the knees up. Put any padding under the ankles or knees, under the sitting bones where you might need them. Choose to sit upright, or choose to slowly twist around to your left side this time. Choose to stay up or lower down, your choice. And again, we're not going to be here for too long, so just explore the shape. Resting animal pose, finding the peace of this wild thing. So it could be any animal, it could be a deer. Maybe one will come into your mind now, maybe not. And we're coming out now, slowly. And we have a little move around, get that chi moving, so maybe just wishing the legs back and forth. Did I say wishing? I mean swishing. Maybe giving yourself a squeeze. Just move how your body wants to naturally move. Then we're going to do 2 poses together on one side, and we're going to begin in half frog, or we might call it half frog meets Sphinx. So we're going to begin lying on the belly, and then we're going to bring our left knee up along to the left side. So the left knee lines up with the hip, and you create a right angle, and that left ankle lines up with the left knee in the opposite direction. So you could stay with the face down, just resting the head. This is half frog, or you could prop yourself up, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, coming into half frog meets Sphinx. So you add a little back bend there as well. And again, we're only going to be here just for a little while. And then we're going to just explore this pose. And then we're going to be moving into a different pose. Maybe an animal that's a bit more domesticated. So I quite like doing frog poses at spring. Always reminds me the time when the tadpoles are going to turn into frogs. All those natural cycles, just moving at the right time. Great reminder. So if you feel anything painful or uncomfortable, remember, please come out. This is not an endurance test. This is an opportunity to journey through your inner space and all the wonderful things that Yin Yoga can bring to your life. Few easy breaths now. Not long to go in this pose. Soft, easy breaths. I'm going to come into what I like to call kitten pulling its tail. So we're going to roll over, rest on our right elbow. And we're going to reach behind for our left foot. So we're going to give ourselves a quad stretch. So this is a variation of cat pulling its tail pose. It's like a dancer's pose lying down. So we could prop ourselves up, or we could just rest our head on our arm. If this becomes uncomfortable, we can always lie down on our belly, come into a downward facing shavasana for a little while. And if it feels nice, just stay here and breathe. Again, we're not going to be here for long. We're just going to explore this pose. And a kitten playing with its tail, or a kitten pulling its tail. So let's imagine this is a wild kitten, undomesticated. So it's just going to go with how it feels. Having a little play with its tail. Maybe being fascinated with that tail. Breathing nice and deep. Maybe you can feel that fascia moving the front of your leg, around the hip, creating space. Maybe as you breathe, you'll notice maybe shifting sensation. Maybe they shift from the in-breath to the out-breath. Just a few more breaths. Gently releasing that leg, rolling over onto the belly. And we'll move over to the other side. So maybe just taking the head down as you roll the right knee up to the side. Maybe you'll come into the Sphinx Pose. So the right knee, you can't really see it now, but my right knee is level with my right hip, and my right ankle is level in a different direction with the knee, creating right angles. And just breathe. And see if you can find a place of rest and peace. Maybe your half frog is lying on the grass by a little pond in the sand dunes. The reeds gently swishing in the breeze. Sound of the sea in the distance. Maybe you can hear that seashore breath. Maybe in your pond you can see the reflection of the sky, gentle clouds, fluffy, floating along the surface, sunlight creating shadows on the water, enjoying the peace of wild things. Allowing the breath to be the barometer for the body. Yin is a practice of being calm but alert to what's going on inside, just like animals are, still but alert. Like the frog by the pond, has the ability to move fast, but likes to watch and wait. So reaching behind now for your right foot, giving yourself that quad stretch, that lying down dancer's pose that we're going to call Kitten playing with its tail. And we'll start to explore cat playing with its tail in future weeks. But for now, a playful kitten, finding space where it's needed. The animals instinctively knowing how to move. Just watching animals move is a wonderful thing. Very calming, therapeutic. And just breathe. Nothing to do. Nowhere to be. Enjoying this moment. This breath. Maybe for a little while now, see if you can focus just on the out breath, making the out breath the focal point for this pose. releasing the foot, rolling over to the belly, using the hands to lift you up into a child's pose, stretching out the back. We're going to come to pigeon pose now. So you could slide the right knee to the right wrist, lengthen out the left leg, walk the hands back, and then soften into your sleeping pigeon. If you'd like to do this lying on the back, just a reminder, we lie on the back, bend the left knee, take the right ankle over the knee, thread the right hand through the legs, the left hand on the outside, hugging closer. So you might like to do your pigeon lying on your back. You might like to do your pigeon lying on your front. You choose. And then we're going to enjoy this pigeon stretch as I read out another poem from this collection, The Peace of Wild Things. How to be a poet. So imagine your body as a piece of paper ready to be written on. Poem. Make a place to sit down. Sit down. Lie down. Be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have. Inspiration, work, growing older, patience, for patience joins time to eternity. Any readers who like your work doubt their judgment. Breathe with unconditional breath, the unconditioned air. Shun electric wire. Communicate slowly. Live a three-dimensional life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it, of the little words that come out of silence. As you inhale, come up and swap sides. So if you're face down, you can face down. If you want to lie on your back, you can lie on your back. And enjoy the poetry this pose offers you right now. Breathe with unconditional breath. Observe patience. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best of it. And listen. Listen to the poetry of this pose found in this body, in this breath. Rest in the grace of this pose. Breathing in, breathing out. our final pose in this practice before we head to Shavasana. Enjoying the peace of wild things. Very slowly coming out of the pose, making your way to your final resting pose for today. So whether you choose to sit up, whether you choose to lie down, whether you choose to lie on your side, whichever you've chosen, get cozy and comfortable. Maybe making a pillow for the head. And find your rest, finding stillness. And today we're going to practice a loving kindness meditation. So wherever you're resting, bring your attention to yourself, being aware that all human beings have a wish to be happy and free from suffering. And recognizing that there will be times when you feel happy and times that life will be difficult. And very gently offering a sense of kindness to yourself, saying silently to yourself, may I be happy, may I enjoy life, may I have the strength to deal with difficult times. Gently offering yourself a sense of kindness. And if your mind wanders or gets lost in distraction, coming back to the breath, repeating the phrases, may I be happy, may I enjoy life, may I have the strength to deal with difficult times. And then come in to visualize now a friend, someone you love, care for deeply, and sending out those same wishes, saying silently to yourself, may you be happy, may you enjoy life, may you have the strength to deal with difficult times. And then maybe thinking of a person you don't know well, maybe somebody that you've passed on a walk, and recognizing that they have those same wishes, sending out those wishes. May you be happy, may you enjoy life, may you have the strength to deal with difficult times. And then recognizing that everyone in the world has those same desires. So sending out those wishes to the world. May you be happy. May you enjoy life. May you have the strength to deal with difficult times. And then dropping those phrases, coming back to your breath and your body. Just notice how you feel now in this moment. Noticing your thoughts, your emotion, how your body feels. Resting with your breath. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Just taking care of your breath, your body. May you be happy. May you enjoy life. May you have the strength to deal with difficult times. Breathing in, breathing out. Very slowly now, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Give yourself any movements that you need to, maybe a stretch, maybe a roll to one side. Finding yourself in a comfortable seated position. Taking a big inhale, bring the hands over the head. Exhale the hands to the heart center. Taking 3 more breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Bye for now.